plaintiff, Ralph Lutfi, is 80 years old, and he's lived a good life. However, Ralph is now suffering from cancer, and that's why he's forced to bring the defendant to court today. Ralph claims he pawned a watch so he could give the defendant a loan, but she has yet to repay him, and he's desperate to get his watch out of pawn. Defendant Mary Mitchell says she met Ralph and his ex-wife in Alcoholics Anonymous. Mary admits that she borrowed money from Ralph 3 months ago and says she and Ralph's ex used Ralph's money to buy crack. Mary feels Ralph's ex should be held partially responsible.
Start with you.
Well, I'm 80 years old, and I lived a long time, Your Honor.
That's true. That's right.
And God's been good to me up to now. I have cancer, and I don't have long to go. Hate to say.
God bless.
But that's life. I started working at the age of 12. I lived through the Depression. My family was poor, and we had nothing.
How did you all survive then?
Well, my dad had a job. Didn't pay much, as you know. And I went to the bowling alley after school and set pins for 5 cents a line. Would you believe this? After, well, it's about 6, 7 o'clock, he'd have me sweep and clean up the whole bowling alley.
Okay. The only part, you probably got a decent pay because of the hazard.
Yeah.
What, did you have to run out there while they...
Yeah, no.
And then run back before the ball hits you?
Then you pick up the stools and put them back into the corners.
Now, I'm having fun
I
with
know.
you. I'm saying
It
that
was
you
a
have to
dangerous
put them
job,
out
let
and
me
run
tell you.
before the ball hits you.
Yeah, they're not kidding. A lot of times I got hit by the pins.
Oh, you are serious? Okay.
I
was just kidding. You did have to get away in time.
No way.
Okay. Go ahead. You were telling me about your history. And
yeah, I owned a bar. Later on in life, around 25, 30, I bought a little bar. So I met a lot of people at that time. And I thought I was a pretty good judge of character. I sold the bar. I stayed there about 2 or 3 years. I said, this isn't my kind of work. And I moved on. Since then, I've held different type of work. And I've worked almost all my life. I did, really.
What was your longest stint at a particular job?
About 30 years.
Okay. What type
As a salesman.
Okay.
Okay. I enjoyed that work. I used to travel.
All right.
On the road at that time.
How old were you when you retired?
I was about 65, 70, in that area.
What have you been doing since then?
Not very much.
Okay. Maxing and relaxing.
Well, I don't know about that. I've been living off the government since then because I never had much money.
Okay.
So I lived on my Social Security checks.
When did you meet the defendant?
Oh, about maybe 8, 10 years ago.
How and what has been the nature of your relationship?
Just as a friend. That's all.
Okay.
And
how has it been going for those 8 and 10 years that you've known
we never
each
had
other?
really no problems together. We've had a fairly nice relationship.
Okay. Let me allow her to give a little background and tell me about you all's friendship.
I met Ralph and his ex-wife in recovery.
I thought you was about to say at the bowling alley. I was about to say, I don't know about that, ma'am. You pulling my leg. You wasn't working during the Depression. Go ahead.
I met them in Alcoholics Anonymous, and I kind of backslid a little bit. And but I have these pictures here. I wanted to show you these.
What is it?
They're pictures of me when I was sober.
Okay. How long ago was this?
I had, in those pictures, I had 10 years. I have a few months right now.
Oh, okay, so you relapsed.
I did.
How long ago?
About 3 months ago, because the money that I'm being sued for was for crack.
Oh, okay, you smoked it up.
Yes, we did.
You smoked too?
No, hell no.
She
Well,
said-
I'm not insane. Hey, crazy.
Vintage crack.
I don't mean to offend you. What you say?
Vintage.
Daryl says it was vintage crack. Antique crack. No,
Yeah, I'm an antique
I didn't mean to
crack.
insult you, sir, but she looked at you.
Yeah.
She looked at
No,
you and
sir.
said,
No,
we
sir.
smoked it.
No, sir. That is his ex-wife. They live together.
Oh. All right, so you allege you used the money that he's suing you for to smoke crack with his ex-wife.
We did.
That sounds like that's going to be your defense. Let me allow him to tell me his side, because he hasn't gotten to the loan yet. Sir, last you were telling me is you all were all right as friends for 8 or 10 years,
Right.
and then something. What?
Well, she comes up to me at my home, and she says, I need $300.
When?
July, first part of July, about the 1st or 2nd. And she says, I need $300 to pay my bills. I says, well, Lisa, you know, I only get Social Security.
That's not true, and you know it.
That's all I do get, Lisa.
That's not true.
What's
right.
not true?
He would drive his ex-wife to crack houses. He knew what the money was for.
No, I had no knowledge
No,
what
you
used
said
it.
it's not true. He said all he had is Social Security as income, and
And
you
I was-
know that. You then said that's not true.
I'm talking about what the money was for.
Okay, well, he hasn't gotten the chance to get to that point. Go ahead.
All right. So I told her, if I give you the 300, I'd have to take my watch. It's the only thing I have of value.
And pawn it?
And pawn it. And I said, I really don't want to
What
do
did she
that.
tell you she needed the money for?
To pay bills, pay electric and that she needed the money for. Otherwise,
I
they're
don't know
going to turn
about
off her
pawn my
power.
watch, sir. Is that a new watch? Huh?
60 years. My folks gave it to me when I graduated school.
You pawned a watch that your parents gave you 60
Right.
years ago. You pawned that so that she could pay her electric bill.
Right, and
No,
other
no,
bills
she'd have
she
been
had.
sitting in the dark, sir. You know, I was in the dark now. No. She'd have sat in the dark, cold,
You knew
if
what
she
it was
couldn't
for,
pay her
Ralph.
gas.
And-
And she'd have ate slop and drank muddy water if she couldn't feed herself and drink. Go ahead, sir.
And I told her I got to get the watch back out. They're going to charge $60 interest, $20 on 100 at the pawn shop. And I said, I want the money back next month. So she proceeded. I said, I'll do it for you, but I got to get my money back. So I proceeded to go to the pawn shop, get her $300. And I told her, write me a check to show me that I could go to the bank and get it out of your account
At a later date.
at the 3rd of the month, next month. So
She did that.
she wrote me the check. I have right here.
Let's see the copy, please. And obviously it bounced. You have overdraft fees.
I got that. And not only that, the bank put on the check, she closed the account.
That's true.
That's illegal.
I did. Because the ex-wife was going to alter the amount on the check, and I didn't want to have anything to do with that.
This is all hearsay.
Couldn't you have just said, oh, by the way, when you close the account, I'm sure you got your money out. You didn't close the account and tell them to keep the money as
Me?
a tip.
No.
You said, I want to close my account and I want my 360 that's in there.
There wasn't any money in the account.
Okay? And you were to have money in the account to repay him,
On
weren't
the-
you?
on the-
No. Listen and answer my question. You were supposed to have money in the account at the time you closed it in order to pay him.
On the 3rd.
Right. And when you closed it, you had nothing in it. Is that what you're saying?
I don't recall.
Okay, now you're lying. Now
No,
you're
no,
lying.
sir, I'm not.
I see you relapsed. You know whether you had some money. You know whether you had a dope fiend definitely knows whether they have some money in the bank or not. And you smoked the last dollar you had up
We
just
sure
a day
did.
earlier.
We did.
You'd have been at that bank to find out whether you had money in there or not. Sir, how do you get to $1,100 when the check was $360 and the overdraft fees
But
$10?
how about the money I had to lay each month to get my jewelry out?
You had to what?
I had to pay that $60 to keep my jewelry
Each
from
month?
being taken. Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Do you have any thing from the pawn shop?
It's all in the paperwork there, sir. Oh, he has it here. Take it up to the judge. Evans.
All right, man.
Right away.
That's right.
It's the rest of it, son. Hey.
He said, hey. That's right.
I got it all in the writing.
That's right. Ma'am, now, sounds like your only defense is that since you smoked up the money with his ex-wife, you shouldn't have to pay. So tell me if that's your defense, and tell me why do you think that's a reasonable defense?
I think that I should have to split the amount that's owed with the ex-wife because she smoked half the crack.
Well,
Why should I have to pay for more drugs? It was all my money in the first place because she had nothing.
that's my point, ma'am. That you hit it right on the head. It was all your money. That was your money. Whatever you did with it is up to you. But you still have to repay him. He didn't give it to his ex-wife, and perhaps he had reason not to. He gave it to you. Judgment for the plaintiff, $1,186,
Thank
ma'am.
you, Judge.
The only evidence I have is that you borrowed it and you failed to return it, and indeed you closed the account once you owed it. Have a good day. Judgment for the
Judge.
plaintiff.
I want the watch back because I want to be buried with it.
You're a liar.
I won't answer that because it'd be a waste of time.